Welcome, folks. Fred Gleek here, back again with Bill DeWeese. Bill, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Fred?
Well, as usual, we'll do the roundup of what's happened in the week. And this week, we are actually doing this on our normal day, which is a Friday. So I want you to back it up. And first off, tell me the total overall numbers, what they look like. And
Well,
then,
first of all, I have to tell I don't have the exact numbers because Mallory is out on maternity leave right
yes,
now.
she has a little legitimate reason. She's had her baby on Thursday.
Yeah, she had her baby on
But
Thursday.
she's back to work on Monday. If not, she's fired, I think, right?
Oh, I hopefully tomorrow she'll be back into work. So, no, I'm kidding. But I just don't have all the exact numbers, but I know it's about $3,500 is what we did
Got
this
it.
week, give or take a couple of bucks.
So I guess the natural question is 5,000 the goal. What happened?
Well, like we talked about last week, there is a bit of an ebb and flow. You'll see it goes pretty strong for 7, 8 weeks, and then it'll taper off for a couple of weeks, and then it builds back up again. It's strange how that works, but actually it's kind of a good thing because it gives me a chance to catch my breath every couple of months. So it's not a terrible thing,
I understand. So
and I can live on $3,500 a week. So it's not like
Exactly.
it all works out.
Yeah. So let's step back then.
Monday.
Talking about Monday, yeah.
Yeah, I had a couple of projects. I did some work for Pitney Bowes. Also did some promos for New Mexico PBS, who is a regular ongoing client. I did had a new client that I picked up. I think this was through Voice 123. And it was for Train Heating and Cooling.
Train, Trane.
What's that?
Train, Trane. Yep.
Yes, correct, yes. And so did a little bit of training narration for them and an IT security script.
Excellent. Okay. And so, again, just to remind people, the majority of your work this week, probably 80 to 90% was narration,
Yes,
which, by the way, there's a narration seminar coming up.
it is in September 19th, 20th, and it's sold out. But
Sold out.
we
But
will have the videos.
we will have the video. So, those of you, and what we might want to do is do some kind of a special before the event occurs to allow people to get in line to get it at preferred price.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, just make a note to yourself, those of you who are viewing or listening to this, if you want to come to a live event at some point, these things sell out really fast. This narration workshop sold out within days. So just when you hear it announced, if you're interested, jump on it if you can.
And the reason for that is Bill holds a lot of these right at his own house. And so, therefore, how many can we accommodate for this?
We're doing 9.
9. Okay.
Yeah, because I want to make sure everybody gets a lot of personal attention.
Got it. Now, some of those people, along with that narration seminar, have also opted to get a package that includes demos as well, right?
Correct. Yes, we'll be recording narration, and some of them will have it. I'll go on and actually do a fully produced demo.
What percentage of the people who are coming to the seminar also opted for that, just out of curiosity?
We have 2, and 2 or 3 of the people who are coming, I've already produced their narration demo, but they still wanted to come for additional training.
Got it. Okay, perfect. So let's, rather than act like we're promoting everything all the time, we'll just get back to the meat of the matter here. So, what happened on Tuesday?
Tuesday was a little lighter day. I did some work for Aramark, and I also I did a direct response TV ad for something called FlexPro. And I don't even remember what FlexPro is, but it was pretty exciting. I remember that.
Never was.
Because it was direct response.
Right.
Call now, 1-800.
So now, when you have lulls, and this is, again, an ongoing theme here, what you should be doing is, I don't know if you did this, but you should be doing more auditions the days that work isn't as strong in the door, right?
Yes, and that's typically what I would do, but I'll be honest and upfront here and let you know I didn't this week.
Yeah, Mallory was having her baby.
Mallory's having her baby. We had our mind on other things, and so I didn't. This all took a back seat to that.
So, as my dad used to say, "Don't do as I do, do as I
As
say."
I say, all right. But typically, yeah, I'd be auditioning or marketing like a madman.
Well, more importantly for me, and I keep thinking about this, is what more do you have to do, or is there anything more that you can do? Because you are the hardest working blue collar voiceover guy on the planet. So what are you doing right now to move it forward with the agents to get those big fancy jobs that pay really big bucks?
Yeah.
So you can sit on your behind a little bit more and just relax.
Well, I am working towards that. That's the goal, the ultimate goal.
Yep.
I had an interesting thing happen today. This is an example of that. I was contacted by ESPN, and they are interested in having me record something for some X Games show that they're doing for ABC. And so I decided, instead of handling it myself, what I did was I contacted my agent in New York and asked him, I served it up to him as a slow pitch softball, if he would like to have it, take it and negotiate the deal for me. So he hasn't made the contact yet. He's trying right now to get to ESPN. So anyhow, that's one way to use an agent, is even if the agent didn't get you the job, if you want them to negotiate the deal for you, because these guys have, that's what they do. I mean, they play hardball. They deal with all the major networks. They know exactly what they can get and what they can't get. And so I'm very glad to give up a percentage to get a bigger paycheck.
Now, is that part of your philosophy in doing that as well, given that you haven't worked? I don't know how much work you've done with this agent, but giving them some money sort of says, hey, remember, I'm Bill DeWeese. I'm very saleable. You should get me work.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's. I think it's a good marketing technique. Basically, I'm throwing business to them.
Yeah. Basically, this is money in their pocket that they don't really have to do any prospecting or work for.
Right. All he has to do is make the phone call and work out the deal. Now, whether that will happen or not, I mean, it could be that ESPN is very price sensitive and they don't want to deal with an agent. And it could blow the whole thing, but I'm willing to take that chance.
Got it. And how big, I mean, when they came to you, did they give you a stated price?
No, they didn't. But this is worth thousands. How many thousands? In all honesty, I don't know exactly what it's worth, because it's network television and it's a narration for like one episode. So that's one of the reasons I contacted my agent, because they have a lot of experience dealing with the networks with this kind of programming.
Got it. So this was a little bit out of your wheelhouse of normal voiceover work, and so not only did you want their help in negotiating it, but you really didn't know what to charge.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I would have come up with some arbitrary price.
It probably would have been too low.
Probably would have been, and I would have never known exactly how low it was, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, well, that's a good. So, is there a lesson in there for people who are watching or listening?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with putting if it's a client that you think has some money and they have a history of advertising and they spend money in that area, then I think it's a good idea to use an agent. You have to be careful, though, because you don't want to throw any client at an agent, because it would scare most away.
Right.
But if you're dealing with something like
ESPN or high-profile network or Disney.
Yeah, exactly, precisely. Then it's very appropriate, and I think it's a good strategy.
Okay, good. Let's get back then. Where are we now on
Wednesday?
Okay.
More work for our friends at Jacuzzi. As a matter of fact, I just got an email from them just before you and I started talking, so I'm not sure what that's about. But
now
hopefully more work.
That's not being done direct through them. That's through a production house or something?
No, this is actually, I'm working directly with Jacuzzi on this.
Well, do me a favor. Why don't you, next time you talk to them, say just casually, hey, one of my business partners went to school with Ken Jacuzzi, who should be around just under 60 years old now. Is he still around? Is he active in the company? My friend asked about him. They were in the same graduate school in Arizona. I'm just curious.
I'm going to make a note of that. Arizona. Okay.
Thunderbird.
What about Thunder?
That's the name of the school we went to.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll ask him about that.
Fine, I realize, but
maybe we can kind of reconnect you guys.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. I did a little commercial for an auction house. I did some narration for a cleaning product called Simple Green. Mm-hmm. I did some on hold for an ear, nose, throat specialist, a little more narration for Cisco, which has been an ongoing project, and more for ABB, which has been an ongoing project.
Got it. Okay, so that was your entire Wednesday.
That was Wednesday.
By the way, for Jacuzzi, just out of curiosity, is this for internal training or is this for...
No, if you go to their website, jacuzzi.com, what they do is I record the explanation of their different models.
The explainer videos.
Exactly, the explainer videos.
I know all the lingo now.
You do. You're getting. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, exactly.
Thursday. What Thursday?
Thursday, I did some on-hold work for National Car for yet another airport. More New Mexico PBS promos, some safety training, and then I did. Here's a commercial I did for Lane Regional Hospital.
Okay.
Someplace down south.
Okay.
So did that, and that was Thursday.
Okay, and that was a 30-second spot, a 60-second?
That was a 30-second spot.
Got it. And is that that's going to air locally or where?
It's going to air locally in whatever market that is. And by the way, this one came through another one of my talent agents.
Got it.
Yeah. So, and actually, it was a repeat client, which is nice. So, here's a note for those of you who are listening or viewing this: is that if an agent brings you work, and at any point in the future that you hear again from that client, always refer them back to the agent.
Yes, because that's the right thing to do, and if the agent gets wind of it, they'll be very unhappy.
Yeah, and this came like years after the first thing that I did, but fortunately Mallory caught it. I didn't even catch it. I didn't realize it. And she said, "Dad, I think they came through your agent," and we checked, and sure enough, he had. So,
And when you do that, does the agent is the agent real gratified that you haven't tried to go around their back?
I didn't get that impression from the email. It was pretty straightforward, matter of fact. But that's the personality of the agent. I'm sure he was thankful.
Yeah.
Although, frankly, I mean, his 10% cut didn't make him rich.
Yeah,
on
this wasn't. How big a job was this?
It was a $300
Right, 30
commercial.
bucks. Yeah.
So I ended up making I got 270. He got 30.
Right. Yeah, but not a big deal. Okay, so what else happened? Anything else on Thursday?
That's all on Thursday. Then we had a baby too, on Thursday.
Yeah.
So that was part of my day.
Mallory, yes.
So I did that in the morning, and then I recorded those in the afternoon. And then today I did work for Intel. I did a little narration for an HVAC company, heating, air conditioning.
Yep.
I did some scripts for there's this company in Florida that I do these. They sound like documentaries, but they air them on TV. They're really like infomercials, but they sound like little news reports or documentaries. They're 2 minutes long. And so I recorded a few of those, like for oil companies. Sometimes a city will actually have one done. It looks like a little documentary on the city, but it's really an ad. So I did a few of those. And then I did a little pharmaceutical company read
Now,
earlier.
in a situation like that, have you actually seen the finished product? Because I remember when you do any kind of what's called advertorial in the newspapers, it's got to be slugged, which is it has to say on there advertising.
Right. I'm not sure how this works, and I've never seen them. My kids have. I've had my kids say, "Hey, Dad, I heard you on TV today." Yeah. It's been one of those, but I've never actually seen them.
Got it. So any other than, well, that's pretty much the week and about $3,500. But again, we don't know the exact figures because Mallory wasn't there to actually do the counting. Or
Right. I don't count very well.
I'd have it down to the dollar if she were there. She's good at that. So
She's very good at that.
The question is, any other things that you might want to share with people listening or watching that was learned that they might be able to take away?
Well, going back to what we talked about earlier with the agent, I need to say that this is the first time I've done that. This is not like a regular thing that I've done. I've been waiting for the right opportunity, and this was, I think, the right opportunity. So I'll be anxious to share what happens. And nothing may happen.
Right.
But then again, it may be a $5,000 job. I mean, I don't know.
And so now, is this agent a relatively new agent?
Yeah, one of my newer ones. It's ACM Talent in New York. Yeah, they're one of my newer ones. But they specialize in network TV programming. So that's why I felt that even if I lose the job as a result of using an agent, at least I think it was worth a shot.
Kayla and I, my stepdaughter and I, I met her for lunch and we were having this conversation. She's a very talented artist, as you might know.
Yes.
One of the things that we were talking about is the fact that, how long do careers go? And so in art, people can be working up into their 80s and 90s. Also kind of true with voiceover as well, right?
Very much. There are especially in narration, but I don't know that it may hold just as true in commercial work. I recently heard of a guy that's in his 90s doing some high-profile documentary narration work. So why not?
And so the idea, then I guess it begs a more philosophical question, which is, you're doing this as a job, but do you see yourself continuing to do this? Let's just say you won the lottery, either figuratively or literally. Would you continue to do narrations at least a bit?
I think I would. I mean, I'm the kind of guy I want to do something.
Yeah.
Although I think I'd take a nice long vacation, long sabbatical first, though.
And then get back into it.
Then get back, rest my voice.
I got it. Okay, well, good. So there you have it, folks. Again, Bill DeWeese here with Fred Gleek, your host, and giving you a little bit of an idea of what his week was like. Thank you very much, Bill, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Fred.